who are these familiar faces?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eternal Empire. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you know her as the Queen of Blades, the Queen of the North. It is our blue Zerg player. It is Scarlett.
You see her team name, her clan name?
Adepted.
I love it.
Which is funny, because she plays Protoss a lot too. But...
Oh, yeah. And in the top right-hand corner, in the red, representing Sloth Esports Club, or formerly of Sloth Esports Club, it is Creature. You know what my favorite esports or my favorite StarCraft clan name is, Tempo?
What is that, Creighton?
There's a Korean clan, and I don't know what the Korean words are for it. I really should learn this at some point, because I tell this story all the time. But it translates to free hydralisks. And they're basically complaining about how powerful queens are, because they call queens free hydralisks because they're so strong, which is my favorite. I was trying to read it out in Korean one time. I was like, what are these? And somebody said, oh, the clan is free hydralisks.
Do you know which players were part of that clan?
You know, I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
The funniest part would be, like, it depends who it is, because I feel like someone like Parting or, people that have a lot more personality, that you know, right?
Oh, yeah. And then Rogue joins just to throw him all for a loop. He's like, yeah, whatever. They're great. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Do something. Do something.
Well, this should be an uphill battle again for our underdog player, Creature. Creature also sitting at 0-4 right now, has not yet won a series. He has taken a couple maps off of his opponents, which is, I think, one reason he was sticking in your mind, Tempo, as one of the more memorable underdog players here. But, of course, his opponent is famed and terrified GSL player, Scarlett, who is currently 3-1 in the group.
Yeah, she's so scary to play against, and Creature is gonna find himself in a very rough situation. But oh boy, being down that many maps, it's like you have to beat Scarlett first. Like, that's step one, okay? And it doesn't get any easier from there. So.
It's been a bit of a sad day for me, Tempo. I've been watching, because I casted EU this afternoon, and it's been one of those days where the brackets, these group stages rather, are starting to settle out a little bit, and you can see which players are ending up where. And so those red bars are appearing behind players' names on Liquipedia, where you know they're getting eliminated. And I'm seeing players that I really love. I mean, like Goblin went out today, and I was like, oh man, I love Goblin. Man. He's so much fun to watch. He's such a good kid. It's a shame to see him get eliminated here, 0-5. At the very beginning, but that's the nature of a competitive game, and I guess we got to do what we got to do. Today's just the day.
It is, and it's gonna happen like that. A lot of the times, though, the funny part is usually it kind of evens out on like this day, but we're seeing players like Creature and Goblin, make it here at the stage. But now, everybody's kind of turning up, and it's really, really tough when you see a map score like that, and then it's like Creature versus Scarlett. And I've talked to him at Cheesadelphia's many times, and he's a very humble guy. Like, he's pretty realistic about his skill level, and I don't think he feels too confident about this matchup, but he's definitely going to give it his all. And I just hope for a really, really good series here, regardless of who's favored or who's not,
I mean, mad respect. If I had to play against Scarlett live in front of hundreds of people, I would probably just I'd pull a Naniwa and I'd just pull all my workers at the very beginning of the game. I'd just be like, you know what? This is going to be the least embarrassing way to lose against Scarlett. But Creature is trying something a little wacky here, and I kind of like it, Tempo. He's going for that double Stargate opening with the Oracle, and then going straight into Phoenix. Should be mass Phoenix from here on out. What do you think of this build?
I'm a huge fan, but you know what we're going to be seeing from Scarlett will be the Nidus Swarm Host play, perhaps, getting an Infestation Pit. So it's going to be like a very aggressive start here from Scarlett with the Lings, stopping at about 44 drones, delaying that third base, and that should actually be a pretty nice indication to Creature that something is up. So the real question here is what exactly is up, and the thing that's going to be up for Creature is going to be Phoenix's, but I'm just wondering.
Fleet Beacon.
How does Creature respond? Yep.
Fleet Beacon. Oh my gosh. Getting +1, and I imagine the Fleet Beacon is just for the anion pulse crystals, right? Which, as you know, Tempo, not just increase the range of your Phoenix, but also turn their lasers purple, which is awesome.
This is that's the most intimidating part.
100%. 100%. Scarlett's Nidus does go down, immediately spotted by Creature there. Wow, that's a very fortuitous scout there from the Phoenix. But the Swarm hosts are almost all finished up here. 7 on the map. Going to be 9 before this is over. And this is just a pretty good spot. It's going to pull Creature out, though, and he should be able to pick this down. I don't think Scarlett's going to get... Oh, my gosh, she's going for it.
Yeah, he's going to go right for it. You know, the Phoenixes have not used any of their energy on the middle line of Scarlett, which is a big plus for Creature. First Locust Wave is going to go down, but nope. Once it starts like this, Creighton, it is just going to be incredibly difficult. The way that the Swarm hosts work is, if you deal with them initially, then it's great. But when this happens in the first Locust Wave, doesn't get much done. Sure. However, Scarlett now has already started this stage of the game where it becomes just an uphill battle here for our Protoss player, and it's only going to get worse.
It's that critical mass we talked about in the last game where we had some Mutalisks, where, you know, once a certain number gets out, it just gets so difficult to properly engage and to deal with. And if you don't cut them off at the pass, if you don't do initial damage right away, it's going to be very tough. We see 9 probes falling immediately. Scarlett adding on another Nidus at the north side of the map. There's some Ling pressure here at the third the Creature's trying to take, and Creature just kind of falling apart here, Tempo, losing everything.
He really is, and Anion Pulse Crystals, right, that Fleet Beacon has been invested into. It's not going to help him here, right? It's usually if you're going to be trying to snipe Overlords and whatnot, but 2 Niduses are already down. Scarlett even has Spore Crawlers by the first Nidus. Wow. So this is a situation where Scarlett is going to get such great immense value no matter what happens. Every single cooldown, we're going to see some probes go down. And even though, yeah, Creature's getting a 3rd base and it did go down, this is not going to... Ooh, boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Tough start here for Creature.
A very tough start for Creature. Scarlett, just as we would expect from her, executing everything mechanically, precisely, and pulling out just the right build for the situation. So a tough start there for Creature, to be sure. But I think that's probably the expected result, and nobody's too surprised when Scarlett pulls out of this 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1. 2-1 would probably be a bit surprising at this point.
More so. Yeah, a 2-1 would be much more surprising than like a 2-0, but just the way that we started there, I like the opener from Creature, because if it was like a standard 3-base Zerg, I think he could have been able to snowball, towards like a standard Zerg opener, but Scarlett, she's pretty spicy herself, and is not going to be just like that kind of predictable Zerg player that, yes, I'm going to try to drone up to like 72, 80 plus, and then we'll meet you at the 4-base mark. No. Scarlett can do it, but she doesn't always have to, and as you saw in the last game, she didn't. So.
Yeah, definitely. Scarlett has dropped 2 maps now to Neeb in her first series, but hasn't dropped a map since then. So she's doing really well so far. I'm trying to see if Neeb and TLO have already played each other. TLO and Neeb are playing each other right now on the A stream, I think. Yeah, they are. Neeb currently up 1 game to 0. So that means that one of those 2 players is going to drop down to a 3-2 map score, meaning that if Scarlett wins 4-1, she's going to be in a 3-way tie secured, right? For first place.
Okay.
And I think it'll get. I mean, I'm not a good math guy, but I think that will guarantee her spot in the top 4. But there's a big difference between top 2 and then 3rd and 4th place, which we'll talk about here in a minute after we get into our game 2.
Absolutely. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, guys and gals, on Everdream. It is going to be in the top right-hand corner, representing Adapted. Our red Zerg player who took a very convincing game there. It is going to be Scarlett.
And her opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the blue, from Sloth Esports Club, with a very, very cute team logo. It is Creature.
I almost want to use my Sloth Esport mousepad just to help Creature here.
It's such a cute logo. Tempo, how did you score a Sloth Esports mousepad?
I met Stefan at Cheeseadelphia. He actually came by.
You met who?
Stefan. So he was the one that actually started Sloth Esports. And he was just a guy with a 3D printer and some pretty decent, awesome art skills.
Yeah.
And said, you know what? I think I want to start a StarCraft team. And he was so infatuated by the players, the scene, and I guess I'm going to say the casters, because we're pretty fantastic ourselves.
Well, sure.
And then he said, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then he picked up a bunch of people, and Team Ascension ended up getting absorbed by Sloth Esports.
Okay.
And he made it happen for a couple of years, man. So, much love to that guy.
Trados.
Trados.
Our admin chit-chatting with the players there. Ban him. Ban him.
Get him out of here.
Scarlett.
It's like Emil, but he's not lagging at least.
Oh, thank goodness. Well, we were saying earlier here, there's a pretty brutal battle. You have the WoW skin overlay. Oh, he's got the console bug. Oh, man. Gross. Anyway, just before this, we were talking about Group A and how tight it is in the top echelons of Group A with Scarlett, Silky, Neeb, and TLO all sort of jostling around for those... Sorry, this is very... I love it when the players cast their own games for us.
Uh-huh.
Don't
We
have
don't
to
have to do anything at all. We just gotta...
Awesome.
Yep. Let them do it, man.
So here in Group A, Silky, Scarlett, Neeb, and TLO are all sort of jostling for those top 4 spots. But one of the reasons that it's so important that they're still putting out so much energy is because the first 4 players do move on the brackets. But places 1 and 2 in the group stages go on to the winner's bracket, and then places 3 and 4 go on to the loser's bracket. And let me tell you, man, if you start in the winner's bracket, you only have to win 3 series to be the grand champion. And the loser's bracket, that becomes 5 best of 3s you have to win, or 4 best of 3s in the grand finals. So fighting for those top 2 spots is a huge deal, and we're going to see a lot of competition, especially in this Group A, to see who's gonna take it.
And yeah, the people that we have there too, right? Where you mentioned TLO, Scarlett, Neeb, Silky. It's really tough competition. Beautiful scout here from Scarlett, by the way. Gonna be able to see that Twilight Council being Chrono boosted, which means that it's most likely not gonna be like a DT Archon drop or anything like that. And in most cases, even though we saw like a really funny game yesterday with the charge lot, this is gonna be, you know, your standard adept opener. But how many gateways are we gonna see out of Creature, and how long will he delay his third base?
That's a good question. Warp Gate Research about to finish up here, and we do see 3 additional gates in the way, so it's going to be 4 gates, and wow, okay. So he's going to open with the Glaive Adept on 4 gates, which is a pretty powerful build, and then we've got the Dark Shrine behind that, and that, of course, is for DTs initially, and if Scarlett hasn't prepared for it, they come back out and go straight into Archons, which, you know, not a bad build at all. Gives you a lot of flexibility, and those Archons in the Warp Prism are just so annoying, Tempo. They're hard to get rid of. They stay around forever, and worst for me, is since you've already got the Robo down for the Warp Prism, you can kick out an Observer and clear creep like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, with the Archons too.
Yeah.
I would expect Scarlett to go into Spire after, so she's probably going to go into Rotis to defend against the initial Adept Wave. But whenever you do see a lack of a Stargate opener, the Spire play is so awesome in ZVP. So we'll see. I'm wondering right now, how else will she deal with this? If she does, the Spire is going to be like probably the best play. But Scarlett, you know, she plays the game a little bit differently sometimes, so
yeah,
I'm
curious to see what she goes for. I do love that she's working on a couple roaches here just to be double safe. And we saw this. I think we saw this in maybe the last Creature game we cast together, Tempo, where he went for a Glaive Adept attack and then was just a little shy, a little bit trepidatious the entire game about like actually committing to these shades. And if you can't commit to the shades, if you just keep canceling them over and over again, they just don't get anything done, and this attack isn't going to be worth too much.
But here we go. The Creature is going to indeed commit to this shade. He's going to go right into the natural base. Scarlett might be up to something. She knows, something's awkward. Makes her Overseer right now. She has Spore Crawlers ready to go. The DTs are inside of the main base. They might be able to get that. I don't know, man. Fear Dragon.
Ooh.
I think he's going to get it. Yes, Creature's going to be able to take out the main base. And he takes a third behind it, too. So with the Warp Prism being able to save those DTs, wow, I would say that was pretty successful, aside from the fact that the Adepts, they weren't really able to kill as many workers as they would like, but you know what? It's definitely something, so thumbs up to Creature.
Yeah, I've seen much worse Glaive Adept attacks before, with no DT
I've done
follow-up.
much worse.
8 drone kills is still not the worst in the world, sacking, 12 Adepts, so not really the ratio that you want. But getting that main base is going to slow Scarlett down so much now. The larva count going to be lower than she hopes, and the tech is going to be slowed down, of course. I love the DT here to help defend against these lings. The third base is going to stay secure for now.
It will, and it's up to Scarlett in order to get something done. So, third base being made by creature at a time that was during the attack rather than like a result of a failed attack, so much better. Because Archons, Immortals, Zealots, I believe, yeah, charge should be on the way. Only thing missing right now would be the Forge coming out of creature. But once she gets that Forge out, I think we should be pretty much set. And there's a Spire that I was thinking of. You know, this is like probably the best response if you don't lose the main. Because now you're kind of lacking in the gas department, right? So usually you'd have 3 bases worth of gas. But right now she's limited to 2.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a problem.
That should slow her down a lot. I do wonder, what would you think about her taking this 4th base really aggressively and grabbing the Rich Vespine geyser behind it? Or will it still be way too late?
I think that would be a great, No, that would be a great idea, right?
Okay.
That would be the base to take because then, yeah, she's been down. I think she was at 37 drones a little bit earlier, so she droned pretty hard, getting 10 more drones. But it does leave a little bit of vulnerability. And I believe that the mutas are going to be able to buy some time in order for her to get her economy back in check. But we're still missing the Forge out of creature, and that's something that I think, I don't know if it's an overlooking or, you know, just one of those things where you're so focused on, wow, I just got Scarlett's main base. Holy crap, what do I do next? So
I think that may be a bit of it. Maybe a bit starstruck after getting so much damage done on such a great player. So yeah, I think you're right here. You see the 6 mutas coming out, but the Forge missing from creature is a huge oversight. He's got so many minerals, so much gas, floating 1,000 minerals right now. He just added on a bunch of gates, but we need to see some big rounds of warp-ins from creature. He's got the warp prism here, and he's going to start putting pressure on the 3rd. I guess that's what he's saving up for, but not the most efficient play out of any Protoss player.
No, but you know what? I actually am a fan of it because of the fact that instead of going for the Forge, I think he just wants to kill Scarlett here. Does not want to go into the late game. He's going to go as soon as Scarlett starts to invest in the mutas, but that's a lot of Archons, so the mutas cannot actually fight the army. They have to go across the map. And if Scarlett does not deal with this, oh my gosh, Creighton, the 3rd base goes down. And Creature's actually making a really nice move here. 3 Immortals are still alive, but the Warp Prism, I believe, got killed.
Yeah, losing that Warp Prism is huge because it means that there was no juggling of those Immortals or Archons. So that means that Scarlett's been able to fly across the map here with these Mutalisks and absolutely destroy 16, 17, 18 going down. And there's nothing here that shoots upwards tempo. Creatures warped in 4 Stalkers, but DT's trying to make Archons really quickly, but these Mutalisks can just sit on top of these probes for ages. Oh my god, Creature down to 30 workers already.
Yes, and this is a beautiful play out of Scarlett. Going to be able to go ahead and snipe those drones. Yeah, she lost that 3rd base. And I think you made a good point as far as getting the 4th base for Scarlett, but she did not end up going for that. So if these mutas if they weren't this effective, I feel like Creature would have been in a pretty decent spot, but it seems like it's actually going to be not so good here for our Protoss player. Even though he has some pretty decent Warp Prism micro here with the Archons. All right, I can dig it. But the next step for Scarlett, it's going to be Rotaling Bane. A little bit different because of the fact that usually you will see melee upgrades being made here if you go for the style. But the mutas have paid for themselves so hard. Oh, this is great.
Yeah, that if you look at that income graph, you'll see it was in Creature's favor for just a little while, and then as soon as those mutas hit, it has dipped back in Scarlett's favor, and she's not giving up. She's still trying to poke in the 3rd base, trying to find even more damage, adding on more mutas as well, which is a little surprising. You're right, it's very strange to see her going for +2. I don't know if you saw earlier by the 3rd base, she's been keeping that Evolution Chamber alive with the Overlord dumping creep down, even though there was a lack of creep from the hatch going down earlier.
Yeah.
So that Evolution Chamber, the
just had a little bit too much to eat this morning, you know. Sometimes, as an Overlord, you know, it is what it is, man.
When nature calls.
Last coming up, you know, he's like having a cookout a little bit earlier than usual, but.
Well, big warp in here, and I think this is Creature's last stand. He has got to make something happen here. 2 Archons are here. The Stalker's still back home to defend against these mutas, but that means once these Archons go down, the mutas can pop in and get a lot of damage done if they wanted to. Where does Scarlett have those mutas right now? Oh, they're going back across the map.
Where are they going? Yeah, looks like they're going across the map. Baneling speed not done. Force fields are not as the best that Creature would like, and the Immortals do get surrounded. It seems like there just might be too much Zerg here for Creature to handle. And the bigger issue right now is that the mutas are not even a factor.